this video, we're not going to watch the whole video. I did. Well, it played in the background while I was working, but just the beginning, I think, and the part that Arvil plays to really set the table for the flame out of Fuentes, which is really taking place because I think in part because of the things that Fuentes said when he was with Tucker, agreeing that there shouldn't be any tribal identity for the different peoples in Western civilization, and complaining that, oh, well, but the Jews are not going to give up tribal identity, and then named a dead Jew, saying he's not going to give up his tribal identity. I guess he's not going to give it up. He can't. He's dead. When you have to update your list of memorized names. Scratch him out because he's dead. So he agreed with that. He agreed with some other points that are countervailing to the well-being of white people, the identity of white people, the ending of our victimization. Then he goes on and says some things apparently on his show I don't watch. I don't know exactly what they were. But then there was this clip. And so all of this is kind of piling up. And people in the white sympathetic sphere who supposedly were like a proud Aryan this and waffing that and all of this clown nonsense, this clowning nonsense. They decide to become, exactly as I said, because of the size of his multiracial audience, they decide to become appendages to the Fuentes audience. And they're just another united there in their complaints about Jews working together. Because it's always the Jews have too much power. If you listen to Fuentes, you listen to any of these people, they rarely, or it's a much smaller percentage of their argument is that these Jews that they're talking about are anti-white. The broader part of the argument, and it varies per content creator, but the broader part is always given to they work together and therefore have a lot of power. Well, we've talked about this many times. You can't demonize that behavior and then emulate it. So these people are too dumb to get it. Not somebody like Fuentes is not too dumb to get it. He's arguing this because it gets him clicks and likes and views and shares and aggrandizement and money. I mean, the little guy's buying properties in Florida. He's bought a building in Chicago or so. Money's coming in. He's doing well. All right. Opposite of actually serving white well-being, serving people's prejudices, serving the prosecution of their scapegoats so they can feel better about themselves and escape responsibility. So he came out, though, and all of these people, so many of them, I think, that attached themselves, who went from being like Aryan superior idiots to I'm a Mexican, long as he's really, doing the substantive thing and just complaining about Jews, and join this multiracial milieu. But he's coming out and he's saying all of these like anti-white things. He's said anti-white things all along, and they've just been overlooking it. He's ridiculed Southerners. He's ridiculed country people. He's ridiculed, one of the biggest flip-flops was for years ridiculing working class people. And countless clips of him ridiculing that, talking about how he wants to be with the rich. The rich should be lauded. The rich are the ones that's on and on and on. And then when Tucker Carlson, excuse me, makes some appeals to regular white America, Fuentes puts on a fucking flannel and comes on and he says, I'm real America. I'm working. My father was a toll. He collected tolls. Give me a break, flip-flopper. Give me a break. So he's always made anti-Protestant comments, on and on. Anything to get him some attention. But then he made this comment the other day on stream about if you're born in America, you are an American, and this is your country. It's our country. It's ours, etc. He says, if you're born in America, it's your birthright. And he specifically said, doesn't matter the race. So needless to say, people interpreted that correctly. And I don't know, maybe it's finally building up enough that even these head up their ass schmucks think it's a little too much. If Fuentes had any sense, he would just throw them another tiny bone. Just get out a milk bone and toss these losers a bone. That's all. If you do that, they'll become your supporter again, and then they'll attack people like me and the folks in this community for you. That's all you got to do. All he has to do, and he knows this, is step out and say, whites are superior. And that's it. They would say, well, there he is. That's our guy. Wouldn't matter how much harm he does. But right now, he's trying to get a broader audience, a bigger share of the Big Con Inc. audience, so that maybe he can climb a little closer to much larger content creators than himself, like Crowder and Salty Cracker and on and on. But he makes a statement and flames out, loses his shit because people start criticizing him, and then says they're all dead to him. Now, Asha Logos, dead to him. Devin Stack, dead to him. Arvel, dead to him. What is the not Groip, Zoomer Historian, dead to him. He says those and more are all dead because they didn't agree with everybody gets a birthright to the West just by being born here. Arvo here in this video, we'll start out, reached out to Fuentes privately, but also before that, a week ago, Fuentes made the comment that his followers, and this isn't new to Arvel, we went through the entire interview. Remember, I broke down exactly what Fuentes said? Still got attacked by Fuentes boy crushers, saying that it was, even though I had timestamps and quotes for Fuentes, where he was talking about what his strategy is. His strategy was that, do you remember? His followers need to lay low. They need to hide their power. They shouldn't have groups, but if they're going to have groups, it should be very small groups. And then they should take over the Republican Party. Do you remember that? We went through it meticulously. So this isn't new for Arvel. Did Arvel forget that this was Fuentes' strategy? Now, why is that the strategy that Fuentes recommends for his followers? Well, it's clearly not going to work to recapture our destiny or to arrest our victimization. But what does it do? It preserves his audience members from the pain of articulating his opinions that will get them fired, that will get them jailed, depending on the country, that will get them thrown out of their families. And what will that do? That will subtract them from Fuentes' audience base and probably subtract others when they hear, what happened to that guy? What happened to that guy over there? What happened to that guy? So instead, he says, hey, look, keep it secret. Keep it real. Just make sure you come to me. Make sure you give the dollars to Fuentes. Make sure you cough up the cuck bucks and you keep it quiet. And then what we're doing is we're going to take over the government. We're going to take over okay, nice fantasy, child. So it's the perfect strategy to preserve his audience, to preserve and grow his audience. It's not a strategy for arresting our victimization. We shared all that in painful detail. So last week, Fuentes apparently tweets that his followers should take over the CIA, that his followers should go to Harvard, they should go to Yale, and I mean as a student, not as a day trip, and then they should get into, I mean, just think about how childish this is. Think about how absolutely superficial, soporific, and childish this is. Go get into Harvard, go get into Yale, and then get into the CIA and take it over. Okay. Well, Arvel decides to tweet back at Fuentes, so are we supposed to become feds? So Arvel says this was mostly a joke. he was kind of being flippant, but he thinks that Fuentes took it personally. I will tell you right now, he absolutely did. If you're going to get near somebody like Fuentes, and in the white sympathetic sphere, I've seen these people come and go and get big popularity. It's all about them. I don't know why there are so many demented loser white people that feel inclined to follow a self-centered, pompous, pretentious, self-promoting, aggrandizing jackass. But they do. Somebody wants to be a team player, they're like, nah, this guy over here, though. Happens again and again. These kind of people, if you are not serving with your existence their magnification, then they will burn you to the ground. So Arvil decides to make this comment, and I'm going to tell you, Fuentes took that really personally, guaranteed. And then Arvil reaches out with a Catholic doctrine question, and Arvil's going to tell you about it, essentially saying, Lil Nicky, are you bringing your position in line with Catholic doctrine that if somebody is born in the country, that Catholic doctrine says you have to take care of them and also their family? Is that what you're, because Arvil's saying he wants to defend Fuentes, so he wanted to make sure he had it right. Well, Fuentes didn't like that at all. He says, you're dead now. Now, Arvil's a bright guy, but he showed extremely poor judgment in aligning himself in a subservient way, which is what he did to Nick Fuentes. When he declared as the leader, or one of the two leaders or whatever, at his endeavor, this return to the land, when he declared that Fuentes is the leader, that Fuentes, it's too bad Fuentes can't be president right now, that all of this, he communicated that to his entire membership and to everyone else that was looking to him and admiring him and what he's doing. He told them all, look to Fuentes as the leader. At the same time, weeks later, he was in a conversation with Hermes, who asked him about how to get rid of white guilt. And he didn't mention us or me at all, even though he had been here just weeks earlier. Why? Well, maybe he forgot. Maybe he just had an absent-minded moment. But more likely, he's cognizant of the fact that Fuentes is no fan of me in this community. Fuentes has had some negative things to say about me. And so therefore, if you're going to be in the entourage of Bubble Boy, then you certainly are not going to be able to promote or even just say anything nice about somebody that is already on the outs.
Dead to Nick Fuentes. He says he will never help me again, and he says that no one else should help me either. This is because I privately DM'd him, asking for clarification on his stance on birthright citizenship. A clip was going around where he seemed to endorse birthright citizenship.
And by the way, I don't care what color you are. I know maybe that's going to be controversial on my side. But seriously, if you have citizenship, if you were born in this country, this is your birthright. This is our lives. This is our rights. This is our heritage. It's our tax dollars. It's our government. It's our military. This is our country. This is our empire.
Now, I knew that his stance in the past has been against that policy. I was actually in conversation with a much larger user on X in DMs, and he was attacking Nick. I was defending Nick, saying, I don't think Nick is changing his position. This is actually consistent with what he said in the past. But I wanted clarification from Nick before I defended him publicly. I told Nick in DMs that I wanted to defend him publicly as long as I knew that we were on good terms, and I got clarification on that point. It's not a ridiculous question. Catholic social teaching is that wealthier nations have an obligation to accept immigrants from poorer nations.
Okay, and let me just point out here, a lot of wonderful Catholic people in this community. A lot of wonderful. There's a guy who's a solo activist, who's a Catholic, said that once he started going free, read Prometheus Rising, going free, he's never had a closer relationship with God. He's a solo activist and he rocks it. The guy's great. Now, what Arvel is saying here about Catholicism, and it's the duty of the wealthier nations to care for, and then the extended family and all of that, true. That's problematic for white well-being. We can look to Central and South America, and that is what Catholic doctrine did to the white race. So we have to be able to look at Protestant Christianity, Catholicism. We have to be able to look at these, as with anything else, and say, first, God made us. We came from the womb and the likeness of our God. This is what matters. We didn't have a teaching. We didn't get born with a Bible. So all that crap comes later. All of that crap is subject to human error. This comes first. No nationality, no national anthem, no crucifix, no religion, nothing. This is as pure as it gets, our birth created by God. He wants this. So we've got to make sure that everything else aligns with that. So that means changing the Bible, then we change the Bible. That means changing Catholic doctrine, we change the Catholic doctrine.
They are also against breaking up families in almost any case. So if you have someone who was born in the country, 2 illegal immigrants, they've been here for 30 years, they have lots of friends and family in the country, the Catholic Church's position would be that that person should be able to stay. So if Nick is consistent with Catholic social teaching in cases like that, he should accept some kind of birthright for a person born here. I didn't know if maybe he had slightly shifted his position to be more consistent with Catholic social teaching. It's possible. So I asked him that question, and he responded with this.
Really? And so everybody that did that is dead to me. So I saw.
Now, this is the marching orders. This is how he and his group of boy gropers, this is how they have been strong-arming content creators. By the way, this little guy was brought on show after show after show by other content creators. He doesn't help anybody out. He doesn't bolster anybody else. He doesn't make any effort to reciprocate all of the popularity born out of good faith of people bringing him on. You remember back in the day when he came to popularity, there were tons of channels. The ADL destroyed all of that. I told you exactly how they would. They made the exact map, and they effectuated the outcome exactly as we knew they would. But there were infinite more shows, and everybody was guesting on everybody else's show. How many guests has this little bitch had? How many people has this little bitch, this self-promoting, selfish bitch, had on his show to highlight and to bring attention to? His followers, they strong-armed everybody. They strong-armed Tucker into having him on. It's all just about Fuentes. So he doesn't help anybody. There's no reciprocation. So now he's giving the marching orders, destroy these people. Burn them down. They're dead to me.
Devin Stack say that. I saw Asha Logo say that. Eric Arval is DMing me saying, "Are you against birthright citizenship?" in DMs. Really? How are you going to be pro-white? You're not even going to support me.
Can you look at that arrogance? Fuck you. I'm a Mexican. Fuck you. How are you going to be pro-white and not support the 25% Mexican? How are you going to be pro-white and support a content creator that argues that your advocacy should be complaining about Jews in private so that he doesn't lose you as an audience member, and then going online. This is what being a pro-white advocate means. Strong-arming content creators into having Fuentes on, strong-arming content creators generally, conservative content creators, and that's your pro-white advocacy. Give me a break. Any white people following that, they're fools. Every one of them. I make your life better with my work. I don't even know who you, that's how I have 2 children named after me. Because of how clear and obvious it is, sincere, that what I want to do is make you better, to free the spirit of the West inside of you. And we do that here. That's why we attract others who want to do that. If you want to have something to follow, let it be the spirit of the West. That's what you should follow. And then use these tools to improve yourself and protect your family. Change the world for the benefit of our people. But no, in that circle, it's, oh, you gotta endorse Fuentes. Quote, how are you going to be pro-white if you're not going to support me?
How are you for all white people and, ecumenical pro-white politics? You're going to throw me under the bus? I'm not being attacked by enough people. I'm being attacked by literally everybody. I'm being attacked by Mark Levin. I even told Tucker to his face. I said, we have.
I mean, this is, and listen to this childish argument he's making here. Are you hearing it? How are you going to be hard on me when other people are hard on me? Not speaking to the complaint or the discussion at all. Just, you're going to be mean to me with other people being, that's like the argument a girlfriend would make. That's like the argument a wife would make. That's the argument a little girl would make.
Have to be pro-white. I said those words. I said, we need to be pro-white. We need to talk about white people. I am pro-white.
He did not say that. He absolutely did not say that. Let's listen to his lie, and I'll go find the comment. He said with Tucker, maybe you saw it. He said, and I think to a degree we need to be pro-white in the midst of a handful of other things. Specifically, talking about Jews.
To his face, I said, we have to be pro-white. I said those words. I said, we need to be pro-white. We need to talk about white people. I am pro-white.
Nope.
And the so-called white nationalist crew, rather than circling the wagons.
But remember, none of this happens. And there's another point right there I want to make. None of like the points I'm making, what he actually said and et cetera, and the contradictions, none of it matters to his audience of boy gropers, because they're there for the Snickers and they are there for the prosecution against their scapegoats, so they don't have to have responsibility to change things. But look at what he just said right here, because he says this often. And I think people like Arvil really need to hear it, especially when you're going to make the really poor choice of declaring with joy in your eyes, kind of looking like Erica Kirk, that this guy is the leader of the white race's resistance. Listen to how he always refers to white advocacy.
And the so-called white nationalist crew.
This is how he always frames people who advocate for white, or at least are claiming pretextually, certainly for us it's true. The so-called, and then he disparages the living shit out of them.
Rather than circling the wagons to defend me and what I thought, even after I was nice to Arvil, even after I had him, or I went on his show, they're taking the piss. They're gonna ankle bite. They're gonna try to score a point. No, I'm not in favor of fucking. If I say you're a citizen, I'm talking about obviously.
Okay, now what are you talking about? Obviously, bro. This is the great debater. They'll tell you how great of a debater he is. You hear the kind of arguments that are being made here. Now, what is he talking about? Now he's going to outright lie here about what he said. Arvil just played what he said for the salient juxtaposition, if you are able to remember a few moments ago.
We should not be afraid to say that we're citizens, we're Americans. It goes without saying that birthright citizenship is not legitimate. That should go without saying. Should we have to put an asterisk there? When I say citizens, I mean, people that are actually citizens, not, you know what I mean by that. So that was really disappointing and really.
Oh, really? Why didn't you say who the we are? Who's the we? Who's the we? And that's not what you said at all. You said anybody of any race, it's our birthright. What is birthright citizenship? That you're born here. This is him getting caught between trying to win a larger share of the Big Con Inc. conservative audience, or at least those who are maybe alternative, than he currently holds, and the people he has been duping along for years. In particular, white sympathetic people. They really should disavow this guy and be done with him. Done. He'll throw you a bone, but you got to be more mature than that. You got to be able to say no. You can't frolic through town with a black nationalist that steals money from white people to give it to black people, openly shares his agent, a Jewish guy, openly shares the conversation that he had with Kanye West about selling shirts to white people and then taking the money from that. So this black nationalist who beds down white women, it was attempting to have a deal, establish a deal with a Jew to defraud white people and give the income from the sales to black nationalists, to black people. A guy here who says his best friend is a Jew, a guy here who says that his personal assistant is a Jew. I mean, what is wrong? You guys have no dignity whatsoever. Now, Fuentes does get a few things right about some people in the white sympathetic sphere in spades.
Really sad and really pathetic. And I'm disappointed how few of them defended me.
I'm disappointed in you. This is your mom talking to you. This is your mom talking and browbeating you. I'm disappointed in you. You didn't behave the way I wanted you to behave, and I thought that would be right. Can't you see how hard I already have it? And now you're going to heap on top of that. I'm disappointed.
Not a peep out of, did I get a peep out of any of these guys? I've defended many of them. Any of them defend me? I don't want.
When has he defended others?
To name certain names, but holy smokes, it's really sad. This is why I never liked a lot of them. I never got along with them because they're resentful. They're resentful and spiteful.
So he says he never liked a lot of people in the white sympathetic sphere. Never liked them. And that's true. He's made shit tons of comments about it. And that makes it doubly, triply, quadruply lame when they are advocates of his. He hates you. He despises you. And then you're out attacking me. You come into my live chat and you're like, yeah, he's the only one doing anything. You're a loser. But then he points out something that's accurate about so many of them.
Because they're resentful. They're resentful and spiteful. It's not what they believe. I came out of that milieu on right-wing Twitter, but
he was created there because everybody was putting everybody on and promoting everybody and platforming everybody back then.
It's a tall poppy syndrome. It's like someone succeeds, someone starts to make an impact, and then they.
No, this is wrong. It's true that there is tall poppy syndrome is ubiquitous, regrettably, especially in the I'm the center of the universe age and the democracy age. Everybody has a vote. Everybody's vote is equal. Everybody's thinking, therefore, is equal. And so if anybody's doing well, then folks get jealous. They want to burn them down. Now, that's what actually happens here, because in the white sympathetic sphere, the argument is this is for the well-being of white people. This is to help white people. So when we came along And we're helping white people for the first time, not going to jail. Instead, they're getting promotions. They're getting jobs. They're getting spouses. With this white well-being as a conversation, they're changing the curricula at school. They're on and on and on. Those people should have been applauding me and this community, but instead, tall poppy syndrome. So what he's talking about is accurate for us. They're jealous. They're spiteful. They're envious. They're not in it for the right thing. When Tree Godfather gets like 10 million views a week, I am over the moon with joy. He's on my team. I love that we're working together toward white well-being. I love that we're arresting the victimization of Western kind, because I'm in this for the honest reasons. So I will always celebrate and laud and have on my shoulders, and that's what we're about. Fuentes, on the other hand, is being cut down because of his flip-flopping, not because he's successfully serving white people. When has that ever happened?
Want to cut that person down and just say, oh, well, you know, so that was a totally dishonest reading. I mean, literally, and I'll just say it once more, the clip on Friday, which I'm referring to, I said, if you're born in America, this is your birthright. We're citizens. This is our country. And they said, oh, so he supports birthright citizenship now. It's like, that is such a dishonest, like.
Remember, you just heard it, what he actually said. Any race, if you're born here, it's your birthright.
Talk about a semantic, trivial little thing. So dishonest. Rather than see the bigger picture. And
the bigger picture of his infamy, of his fame.
And give me the benefit of the fucking doubt. If ever there was a person or a time to do that, and circle the wagons and say, he's right, this is about America first. Nope. Zoomer historian was another one. No, let's dunk. Let's dunk on him, because that's really helpful. That's productive.
For what? For it undermines Fuentes' popularity. And do remember that Fuentes has had several clips. He said on his show several times, so it's been in several clips over the years, that he is America first. So know what he's referencing.
We need to take down Nick Fuentes so that some other guy can go on a generational run. And, you know, we'll wait for some other person to get influence and impact.
Wait, what? What? So you need to support Fuentes so that he can go on a generational run, so that he can be aggrandized, so that he can be famous, so that he can be wealthy. He's literally telling you what his motivation is. And when he achieves the steps in that direction, this little guy is effusive. He's bubbly. He's bubbly and happy. When something undermines his fame, he's like this.
And get a platform, someone who deserves it. Fuck you. You're dead to me. All those people that did that, fuck you. I will never help you. No one should ever help them either, because that's how it's repaid, clearly. You know, and I feel that way about other people that I won't mention. And I don't hate all of them, but I'm never going to help them again for that reason.
He's never going to help him again. You know, that's like the girlfriend who does nothing for you. And she then declares in a fit that she's never going to do for you again. And you're like, what were you doing? This really is like listening to a bad girlfriend browbeat you.